At the beginning of the drama, the female lead, Yoon Seo, is shown lying on a bed. When her eyes open, she is very scared. Then a message arrives on the phone kept on the bed next to her. She gets up and goes near the phone. In that message, it was written, "Night has come." Drops of blood were dripping on her phone. She looks towards the direction from where the blood was dripping. When Yoon Seo looks up, a girl's corpse is found there. Seeing which, Yoon Seo gets terrified and starts running from there. While running, she reaches the school's swimming pool area. Suddenly in front of her, on the other side of the pool, a girl comes and stands, who jumps into the water. Just then, the color of that water turns red with blood. Then that girl's head comes out of that red water, and she starts moving towards Yoon Seo. Seeing her coming towards her, Yoon Seo runs away from there quickly. While she is running, suddenly her classmates appear to her like zombies. Yoon Seo starts running from there too, but then someone attacks her, and then the scene changes. Now we see Yoon Seo on a bus, looking quite scared. We find out Yoon Seo was reading a book, and she was imagining herself in that place. Yoon Seo and her classmates were going on a trip, and they were making a lot of noise. When she looks back, some kids from her class were arguing, "Let's play a Mafia game." Then the class bully, Kyungjun, wakes up from this noise and tells his friend, "Quiet everyone down." On this, his friend shouts at everyone and says, "Kyungjun is sleeping. He is getting disturbed. Everyone, be quiet." Yoon Seo was watching all this. Then her gaze goes towards Jun-hee, who was asleep. Then her classmate Seomi clicks a photo of Jun-hee, who is the male lead of this story, and says while showing it to her friends, "Look at this picture. It looks like a picture from a fashion show. How is he so handsome?" On this, Seomi's friend, Park Woo-ram, says while teasing her, "I will tell Jun-hee that you took his picture while he was sleeping." On this, Seomi says, "Can you really do that? At least on this pretext, I will get a chance to seduce Jun-hee." The rest of the students present there start teasing Seomi. Yoon Seo was watching all this from a distance. Then her friend, Young-won, says to her, "Instead of staring at Jun-hee, go and sit near him." On this, Yoon Seo says while refusing, "I am not staring at him," and she starts looking out of the bus. After some time, the bus reaches a youth center. While getting off the bus, Yoon Seo says, "I feel like I have been here before." Her friend, Young-won, replies, "All youth centers look the same. Don't think too much." Inside, all the students get busy with activities. Yoon Seo and Jung-won are sitting together. Jung-won teases her and says, "If you stare at Jun-hee like this, everyone will think you like him." Yoon Seo laughs and refuses. Then Jung-won looks at an app on her phone and says, "What is this nonsense? I could make such an app in a single day." Yoon Seo asks, "What happened?" Jung-won tells her, "As soon as I scanned the Wi-Fi, an app downloaded by itself, which has the map of the youth center." She downloads it on Yoon Seo's phone too, but Yoon Seo says, "I don't need this." Then the class teacher comes and says to the class president, Jun-hee and Seomi, "I am going to pick up the rest of the children. Until then, send everyone to the rooms." Suddenly, the lights go out. A student comes wearing a white cloth to scare everyone. Everyone gets scared, but then he laughs and says, "A girl committed suicide here and her soul is still here. If someone pulls your quilt at night, do not look back." Everyone considers this a joke and starts laughing. After a while, everyone goes to their respective rooms. In the room, Young-won says, "Why is there no signal here? I have to attend a coding lecture." Yoon Seo says, "Who studies on a school trip?" Then a notification arrives on Yoon Seo's phone. She asks Jung-won, "I said I didn't need this app, so why did you download it?" Jung-won says, "I didn't download anything." Then a message arrives on both their phones. The Mafia game has started. Know your profession. Yoon Seo touches the letter and finds out, "I am a civilian." Jung-won finds out, "I am also a civilian." Then the rules of the game appear. Every participant will have a role. Mafia, civilian, doctor, and police. The doctor can bring a dead person back to life, and the police can find out anyone's role. From 8 a.m. until midnight, civilians will find the Mafia through voting. The one who gets the most votes will die, and their role will be revealed to everyone. After voting, everyone except the Mafia will go to sleep at night. Before 6 a.m., the Mafia must kill one person. There will be 2 teams, Mafia and civilians. The doctor and police will help the civilians. The team whose members are all finished will lose the game. This notification reaches everyone's phone. Everyone thinks it's a joke. Then the message to start voting arrives, and as a joke, everyone votes for Heo Yul. Yoon Seo says in surprise, "I didn't even sign up here, then how do they know our names?" Jung-won says, "There is no Wi-Fi here either, so how are we playing the game?" Then both of them go to the lobby looking for the teacher, where they meet Jun-hee. He says, "There is no network in my phone, and all the staff have gone out with the teacher." Yoon Seo says, "Let's try calling from the office phone." But that phone doesn't work either. Then Yoon Seo receives a message. "You are called to the pool area." Jun-hee says, "Maybe there will be an interview for tomorrow's event." Yoon Seo reaches the pool area, which is dark. Suddenly, the lights turn on and her classmates wish her a happy birthday with a cake. Yoon Seo thanks them. Seomi says, "Your gift is still pending," and she pushes her into the pool. Jungwon gets angry, but Yeonseo says, "I am fine," and tries to come out. Suddenly, someone grabs her leg and starts pulling her under the water. Everyone gets worried. Then Jeonhee comes, jumps into the water, and pulls Yoonseo out. Due to being in the water for a long time, Yoonseo becomes unconscious. When her eyes open, she is in the medical room, and Jeonhee is sitting in front of her. After a while, everyone else also arrives. Junhee tells everyone, "Apologize to Yoonseo." Seomi apologizes, and Yoonseo also forgives her. While everyone is returning to their rooms, an announcement is made. Only 1 minute is left for voting. A 1-minute timer starts on everyone's phone. As soon as the time is over, the announcement comes. The one who got the most votes is Heo Yul. Everyone starts laughing and making fun of him. Heo Yul says, "Why did you all vote for me? I am a civilian." Suddenly, he starts having severe pain. He starts screaming while holding his head. At first, everyone thinks it's an act, but gradually his eyes turn white. He starts banging his head against the floor and the wall. His head becomes covered in blood. Suddenly, he gets up, runs toward the window, and jumps straight down. Then the announcement comes. Heo Yul was a civilian. Everyone is left terrified. No one understands what just happened. Yoonseo moves toward the window, but then suddenly all the students fall unconscious together. When everyone's eyes open, it is morning. Yoonseo immediately goes to the window where Heo Yul's corpse is lying below. Before anyone can understand anything, a notification arrives on everyone's phone, and the announcement is made. Ju-won has been killed by the Mafia. Ju-won was a Mafia. All the rest of you start voting to find the Mafia. Everyone asks each other, "Where is Ju-won?" Then a child shouts, "Who is making this announcement?" 2 children go toward the broadcast room. At the same time, the sound of Da-byum screaming comes from the washroom. Everyone reaches there and finds blood spread on the floor. When class president Jeonhee looks inside, Ju-won's corpse is there. Yoonseo goes near the corpse, touches the blood, then her health starts deteriorating. Then the bully Kyungjun asks Junhee, "What should we do now?" Junhee tells everyone, get out of here immediately." Within a short time, all the children come to the ground outside the school and start running in different directions. Then the announcement is made. The game must be played only in the designed area. Everyone's gaze goes to the white line drawn on the ground. Junhee stops everyone, but Sang-hwan does not listen to him and crosses the line to run away. As soon as he crosses the line, his condition also becomes like Heo Yul's. Then the announcement is made. Sang-hwan is killed for breaking the rules of the game. To save him, Hyung-seok also crosses the line, and he is also killed by the game. In a few moments, both die while hitting each other. Then the announcement comes. Sang-hwan and Hyung-seok were civilians. After this incident, all the children come into the hall out of fear. Everyone tries to call the teacher, but no one's phone has a network. Meanwhile, Yoonseo suddenly runs toward the roof. Junhee and Jungwon also go up after her and try to find a network. Then Yoonseo's gaze again goes to the white line. She says, "According to the rule, we cannot cross this line. Why don't we see where this line goes? Maybe we will get some help." Junhee comes down and tells this plan to everyone and says, "There is a village towards the mountain. Maybe we can get help from there." After some planning, Junhee, Seomi, and some children leave for the mountain. Yoonseo is watching them go. Then someone calls her, "Lee, Yoonseo?" She looks around and asks Jungwon, "Did you call me?" But Jungwon refuses and says, "No, I didn't call you." Both start going back inside. On the way, Yoonseo sees Heo Yul's corpse and she becomes emotional. Inside, Yoonseo says, "Let's keep Heo Yul and Ju-won's corpses in the cafeteria freezer. Otherwise, the condition will worsen in the heat." First, Jungwon refuses and says, "I won't touch the bodies." But later, with the help of some boys, they keep both the corpses in the cold storage room. Yoonseo takes pictures near Ju-won's corpse. Then she finds bloodstains and a fire extinguisher with blood on it in another washroom. Yoonseo understands Ju-won was hit on the head with this. Jungwon says, "What is the use of knowing all this now?" But Yoonseo feels something very strange is happening in this game. After a while, everyone comes down to the hall. Then Da-byum says, "I didn't charge my phone, yet its battery is 57%. Everyone checks their own phones, and everyone thinks, my battery is also exactly 57%. This is very strange. While coming down the stairs, Yoonseo again hears the same voice. Lee Yoonseo. This time, she follows that voice into the basement. There she finds a dark room where a strange plant is kept in a glass box. She is looking at it carefully, then she feels, someone is standing near me. But as soon as she turns to look, that shadow disappears. Moving a little further, she finds a room where many screens and a phone are kept. Yoonseo tries to call 911 from that phone, but the call does not connect. As soon as she goes out of the room, recordings of different parts of the school start playing on those screens. She comes back to her room. Jungwon asks, "Where were you?" Yoonseo says, "I had some work." Jungwon says worriedly, "The Wi-Fi and phone are not working at all." Yoonseo says, "Maybe When someone dies, their phone also dies. Then she tells Jungwon, I have seen something strange in both the swimming pool and the basement. She feels, maybe it is the same soul I heard about earlier. But Youngwon explains to her, this is just your imagination. On the other side, Jun-hee and the rest of the children have reached the top of the mountain. They see two people in the distance through a camera. Everyone starts shouting for help. But Sang-hwan says, they are not real. Their position is not changing at all. Even the seagulls are staying right there. This means it is only an illusion. At the same time, Seomi and Do-hyun are checking the white line. Suddenly, Do-hyun's foot slips and he falls down. Then the announcement is made, Do-hyun is killed for breaking the game's rule. Do-hyun was a civilian. Within a few seconds, his eyes also turn white, and he takes his own life with a nearby sharp piece of wood while hurting himself. Seeing this terrifying sight, all the children are filled with dread. Then suddenly the children who were in the youth center get a message on their phones. Do-hyun was a civilian. As soon as they get this message, everyone understands he is now dead. Meanwhile, the students who had gone towards the mountain return to the youth center. As soon as they return, other students start asking them questions about Do-hyun's death. Seomi tells everyone this is what actually happened. On the other hand, Kyung-jun asks, could you reach the village? Jun-hee tells them, there is no way to get out. We are all trapped here. Now we have only one way left, and that is to complete this game. After everyone leaves, Yoon-seo sits alone and starts crying. She is very sad because she was the one who first suggested going to see the lines. She feels, I am responsible for Do-hyun's death. Then Jungwon finds her and starts explaining to her. Jungwon tells her, sitting and crying like this will not help. It is better that you handle yourself and help in thinking of a way to get out of here. While going towards the office, they meet a student whom Kyung-jun often troubles. Kyung-jun has called him. They both try to stop him from going there, but that boy still insists on going. On the other side, Jun-hee stays in the office where phones keep ringing continuously. After a while, he realizes this is all just a trap because the phone lines were cut a long time ago. Yoon-seo and Jungwon hear Jun-hee's worried voice from the office and immediately reach there. Jun-hee tells them, everything here is fake, the phones too, and the office files too. Nothing is really working here. Meanwhile, Kyung-jun and his companions continuously trouble Dae-byom and tell him, explain the rules of this game. Dae-byom tells them, in this game, every person knows only their own profession. To identify the Mafia, you need planning. Kyung-jun and his friends think, what will happen if we just pick someone and kill them? But they soon understand doing so will not give us the right answer. They also start thinking, why was Ju-won killed? What has happened so far? But Dae-byom himself does not know all the rules of this Mafia game properly, and in this condition, he cannot be blamed. Because this is not just a game, but has become a scary conspiracy in which his friends have lost their lives. Kyung-jun snatches Dae-byom's phone to see if he can vote from it. But the good thing is that everyone can vote only from their own phone. On the other side, the rest of the students think among themselves, how can we understand this game and find the Mafia? During this, Hyeon-ho takes care of Nahi's wounds, which she got because of climbing the mountain. They both promise each other, no matter what happens, we will try our best to stay alive. To lighten the mood, they jokingly say, maybe in the midst of all this, we have started liking each other. Students divide into small groups and try to understand how this game actually works and who was behind Ju-won's death. Yeon-seo, Jungwon, and Jun-hee decide, we will tell the rest of the students not to vote so that no one dies. Before that, they rescue Dae-byom from Kyung-jun's clutches, and a fight starts there. Kyung-jun tries to attack Hyun-ho, but the rest of the students overpower him. Finally, Yoon-seo explains to Kyung-jun, stop these unnecessary actions and come to the auditorium to talk with everyone else. On the other side, suspicion starts among Seomi and her friends too. Everyone starts feeling everyone else is a mafia. So they try to understand what actually happened by remembering the events of the previous day. During this, Yoon-ha gets into trouble because she had jokingly said, Heo-yul should be killed. In response, she blames Seomi, you pushed Do-hyun outside the line. Yoon-ha repeatedly says, I am a civilian. But the other students find Seomi's words more trustworthy. Finally, when all the students gather together, Jun-hee suggests no one should vote. Kyung-jun orders all the students, put your phones in a trash can. Some students say, we do not agree with this decision. But in the end, the majority's opinion is accepted. Everyone puts their phones in the trash can, but Kyung-jun secretly hides his phone with him. Then, an announcement is made that only 1 minute is left to vote, but the students decide to leave it to fate. After midnight, nothing happens for a few moments, and students start feeling happy, thinking, maybe we are saved. But then suddenly the alarm starts ringing and the argument starts again. Should we vote now or not? Finally, the situation becomes even scarier because the announcing voice suddenly starts killing some students. Terrified students run toward the trash can to take back their phones so that they can vote quickly. In that chaos, a student pulls the electric wires, due to which the whole place suddenly becomes dark. Now in the dark, students are wandering here and there, looking for their phones and trying to vote. During this, Yoon Seo tries to help Jun-hee because he looks very panicked and she thinks, is he having a panic attack? Students are trying to find their phones and vote in the dark. Then some people fall or get hurt. The announcer continuously announces the deaths of some participants, and this time students start committing suicide. Even after finding the phones, students are struggling to decide whom to vote for. This changes when Seo-mi votes for Yoon-ha, and other people follow her. Although Yoon-ha voted for Seo-mi, it was now too late. Yoon Seo tries to save Yoon-ha and tells the other participants, split your vote and give it to someone else. But this is no longer possible. On the other side, Kyung-jun finds Hyun-ho's phone and throws it away. Hyun-ho cannot find his phone and becomes very upset. Seeing Na-hee looking for him was very upsetting. The voting ends and Yoon-ha emerges as the one with the most votes. She gets angry at everyone. Why didn't you all vote for Seo-mi? And leaves from there. At this time, most of the civilians have been killed, and the participants have not been able to identify any Mafia yet. Then the announcer plays a song and the students fall asleep because it is night. The next morning, Yoon Seo wakes up scared from a scary dream. All the students wake up and find that Hyun-ho's corpse is still in the auditorium. They also find out that Ju-hyung has also died. The Mafia killed her at night. The announcer says Ju-hyung was a civilian. She also announces the doctor used their healing ability to save Cha Yu-jun before the previous voting ended. All the students blame Jun-hee. You advised not to vote, and tell him, take responsibility. He apologizes and goes outside. Kyung-jun quickly tries to distance himself from any blame. Jun-hee decides, I will leave the game, but in the end, he stays. Later, students argue about whose fault it is. Jung-won says Kyung-jun is the most suspicious, but he tries to put the blame on Jun-hee. Kyung-jun says, I didn't trust Jun-hee and didn't give my phone. This is my cleverness and the reason I am alive. Yoon Seo tells them, stop arguing. She says, our focus should only be on finding the creator of the game so that everyone can go out safely. But first, we have to put the dead bodies in the freezer. Some students, especially Kyung-jun, initially say, we refuse to touch the dead bodies. But in the end, they are forced to help. Later, Yoon Seo tells Jun-hee, stop blaming yourself and help in finding the person behind the game. Again, Yoon Seo stays alone in the freezer, and then she hears a strange voice. On investigating, she finds a small wall opening and screams in panic while seeing something unusual. Other students think she has a problem and help her. When Yoon Seo's eyes open, she finds herself in the medical room with Na-hee, who tells her, this is what happened. Na-hee is very affected by Hyun-ho's situation, and this is affecting her mental strength. In another place, the rest of the students discuss the game and suggest, we should speak the truth about our roles. But no one does so. Kyung-jun says Jun-hee could be Mafia because many civilians lost their lives when they decided not to vote last night. This was Jun-hee's suggestion. But Seo-mi argues even Mafias gave their lives because they followed Jun-hee's suggestion. Students focus on Cha Yu-jun's friends and say maybe they were the doctors who saved him. Yu-jun's friends quickly deny it. Then some student mentions Seo-mi was the first to vote for Yoon-ha. A student points out Yoon-ha had blamed Seo-mi for some past issue. Seo-mi also hits back with her allegations, which increases the confusion. Then the conversation returns to Kyung-jun and the reason for hiding his phone. Kyung-jun blames Woo-ram. The argument continues from all sides. In the end, Kyung-jun votes first and votes for Woo-ram. A fight was about to happen, but it is avoided. After Kyung-jun votes for Woo-ram, his followers also follow. Then they decide that staying as only 3 people is risky. They recruit more people and motivate them through food. Jun-hee tries to stop the rest of the students and discuss, but they leave. Soon more people start voting for Woo-ram. Jun-hee blames himself, I could not save the students. As midnight approaches, Woo-ram tells the other participants, vote for Kyung-jun. He warns, it's just a matter of time before Kyung-jun comes to you. Jun-hee and his friends decide to vote for Kyung-jun. Ji-soo and Yoo-jun vote at the end. Woo-ram goes to convince them. After the voting, Yoon Seo shows Won-jung and Na-hee the wall opening she found and decides to check again. This time she slips and discovers a hidden room near the wall in which computers are installed and students are being monitored. She understands students are being monitored and starts looking all around the room. She feels someone is running behind me, after which she follows the ghost. She finds herself on another floor where everything looks identical. This is almost like a maze. She tries to text her friends, but the message does not go go through due to network issues. After some time, she hears a phone ringtone in a room and quickly goes to pick it up. But this is also a trick. The door locks behind her and she starts looking around. Then she finds a photo album in which there are photos of all the schools that have come to this center. She is shocked and thinks, my class photo is here too. How was the photo taken? Students had never posed. While leaving, the teacher had said, I will come back and take a class photo. She notices another strange thing. Students' faces are not visible in the photo. Only one girl is visible. But Yoon-seo cannot recognize her. Yoon-seo quickly takes that photo and finds a way out of the room through the wall opening. Won-jung and Na-hee start worrying until Yoon-seo returns. Jung-won decides, I will see why my friend is taking so much time. But she only finds a nowhere. Meanwhile, the debate on voting continues. Woo-ram has 7 votes and Kyung-joon has 6. As Kyung-joon comes into danger, he becomes desperate. Seo-mi, Joon-hee, and Woo-ram try to convince Jisoo and Yoo-joon vote for Kyung-joon. Jisoo does not vote under pressure and asks for more time to think. Woo-ram becomes upset and Joon-hee goes out after him. He says to Woo-ram, wait in your room until I try to handle things. Seo-mi stays back to talk to Jisoo and her boyfriend, but she is unable to talk. Jisoo says, maybe Seo-mi herself could be Mafia. Jung-won convinces Mina, help me in reaching Woo-ram. Jung-won says, I and Mina have worked together before, and Mina tricks Woo-ram into leaving the room to meet Jung-won alone, where bullies attack him. They tie him to a chair in the studio and force him, announce that you are Mafia. Meanwhile, Mina stays with Jisoo and Yoo-joon so that they get time and they vote for Woo-ram. After failing with Jisoo and Yoo-joon, Joon-hee and Seo-mi go looking for Woo-ram. They are surprised that his room is empty and they look for him everywhere. At this same time, Won-jung returns to Na-hee and says, I could not find Yoon-seo. They are about to leave when Yoon-seo also returns. She also shows the photo she brought with her. Yoon-seo believes the girl in the photo might be the ghost. As they talk, Joon-hee interrupts them and asks, have you seen Woo-ram? They decide to find him, but then they hear Woo-ram's voice. Woo-ram announces, I am Mafia. They quickly go to save him, but it is too late. The announcement is shocking for everyone, and Jisoo and Yoo-joon vote for Woo-ram. Jun-hee breaks the door and saves Woo-ram. As soon as they come out, students get a message that the voting is over. Woo-ram sees that he has the most votes and tries to attack Kyung-joon. He says, I will not die alone, and grabs an axe. He says, the next death is going to be yours. My Mafia partners will not leave you alive today. And he attacks Kyung-joon with the axe. Then the announcer reveals Woo-ram was indeed Mafia. And then in a flashback, it is shown that he had harmed Joo-hyung. Yoon-seo is disappointed by this betrayal and falls on her knees. Meanwhile, Kyung-joon is very happy with himself. Then students start hiding when night arrives. Joon-hee and Won-jung take Yoon-seo to safety and lock the door. Then a music plays and students immediately fall asleep. The next morning, when students wake up, Yoon-seo is still in shock that Woo-ram was Mafia. Even before fully waking up, an announcement comes. The police used their skills, and Park Jisoo died because of the Mafia. Jisoo was a civilian, and the game is still going on. Students have to find the next Mafia and vote by midnight. Jung-won feels alone and questions, will we ever be able to get out of the center alive? Yoon-seo tries not to lose hope and says to herself, everything will be fine. Students leave their hiding places and see Yoo-joon, who is crying for his girlfriend. In a few minutes, Kyung-joon calls everyone to an important meeting. He feels proud that he exposed a Mafia by identifying Woo-ram as Mafia. He says, now I will take the responsibility of identifying the Mafia. He asks some students to tell whom they think is Mafia, and he will decide who is the most likely Mafia. Some students argue with him and ask, who do you think you are? Kyung-joon focuses on Joon-hee, Seo-mi, Yoon-seo, and Jung-won because they were trying to save Woo-ram. He argues, all of these must be Mafia and are helping each other. The 4 students refuse and try to prove their truth. They explain why they would not have killed Jisoo. Won-jung points out that Jisoo and Yoon-joon were in a room at night. Seo-mi questions, did Yoon-joon kill his girlfriend to survive? Yoon-joon could not do anything because he is outside. Mina asks, why didn't the police use their skills to save Jisoo? In the end, Kyung-joon says, Joon-hee is Mafia. Yoon-seo tries to help Joon-hee, but Kyung-joon shows no mercy. Out of fear, Yoon-seo says, I discovered the CCTV room, and suggests, check the footage so that the Mafia can be found. But it turns out that someone had deleted the footage. Won-jung decides, I will try to bring the files back, but Kyung-jun says, Yoon-seo is tricking us. He and his gang vote against Yoon-seo. Yoon-seo tells the rest of the students, give me time to prove it before voting. To save Yoon-seo, Ju-won promises, I will try to bring the files back before 11 p.m. Everyone agrees with this, and Mina, Seomi, and Na-hee go towards the infirmary. There, Seomi and Na-hee have an argument because Seomi suggests we should vote for Yoon Seo. Na-hee thinks if Yoon Seo turns out to be a citizen, this will make us murderers. Na-hee also becomes concerned that Seomi has always disliked Yoon Seo and wants to use this opportunity. They argue, and Seomi asks Na-hee, "Are you Mafia because you were spending time with Wonjung and Yoon Seo?" Mina feels that the fight is increasing too much and comes in between to stop the fight. Wonjung explains, "I can only bring back some files." Therefore, she decides, "I will bring back the files only from when Jisoo was killed." At this same time, Yoon Seo shows Joon-hee the freezer wall entrance and the picture she found. She tells him, "Believe me," and Joon-hee agrees. They go again to that place where Yoon Seo was stuck in that maze-like place. They check the whole place but find a dead end. While searching, Yoon Seo asks Joon-hee, "What will you do if I turn out to be Mafia?" Joon-hee says, "It doesn't matter. I will never vote against you." After some time, Yoon Seo and Joon-hee are tired. Both go out to get fresh air where Yoon Seo says, "I want to live." Joon-hee comforts her and asks, "Can we find more evidence against the Mafia?" They check Jisoo's room with UV light and guess what happened? They imagine that someone broke the went inside. Maybe the same axe was used which Woo Ram used to kill himself. But they cannot trace the Mafia with UV light because blood splashed on some people in Yoon Seo. So they are back to the same question. As they talk, they get a message that the footage is back. Students gather to see all the footage and are shocked when they see something like a ghost there. Yoon Seo says, "I saw the ghost in the picture before." She shows the picture to the group and says, "The ghost is the same girl who is in the far corner." She tells the students, "Believe me," and suggests, "Find the creator of the game instead of eliminating each other." But students become more confused and go towards the pool where the ghost was seen in the video. Jun-hee suggests, "Vote in a new way because time is short." Since Yoon Seo had 4 votes, they nominate someone else and distribute the rest of the votes, due to which 4 votes will go to Yoon Seo and 4 votes to that other person. Jun-hee argues, "If no one gets the most votes, we can survive." He suggests his own name and they implement the plan to divide the votes. After the vote, the announcer remains silent and students think, "Our plan worked." But their happiness does not last long. The announcer then announces, Yoon Seo and Joon-hee are tied. She tells the students, "Vote in the next 5 minutes to decide who will be killed." Only those students who did not vote for both before can now vote again. Lights go off and the alarm sounds, students panic. Seomi votes for Yoon Seo and tells others to join. She takes the picture in Yoon Seo's hand and tears it. Wonjung tells the other students, "Do not vote for Yoon Seo." In a flashback, Jun-hee remembers losing his loved ones. He decides to sacrifice himself to save Yoon Seo. He admits, "I am Mafia," and the rest of the students vote for him. Seomi tries to stop him. Yoon Seo starts crying and refuses to move from his side. Results start coming, and students quickly run towards safety. Wonjung and another student take Yoon Seo away from Jun-hee because he falls into the pool and starts drowning. Then some flashbacks are shown in which Seomi killed Jisoo the previous night. This time, she is standing over Yoon Seo holding an axe. She is about to kill Yoon Seo until an announcement is made. Then, in the day 1 flashback, it is found that the Mafia actually know each other. On the first night, the Mafia had woken up and they were given rules. According to the rules, they have to decide together at night who will be killed by 6 a.m. If this does not happen, one of them dies. This is what happened with Choi Ju-won. The announcer stops Seomi and reminds her of the rules. Seomi blames Yoon Seo for Joon-hee's death, but she has to stop doing this because of the rules. The next morning, students wake up and Yoon Seo goes straight to the swimming pool. There, she finds Jun-hee in the water. She takes his body out of the water and hugs him. While telling her feelings, she says, "I wish I had told you how much I love you." Another shocking twist comes when it is announced. The doctor healed Joon-hee. Therefore, Jun-hee is alive again. Yoon Seo is very happy and they hug each other. Seomi also comes and hugs Jun-hee, but when she finds out that Yoon Seo and Jun-hee are looking for the ghost picture which she had torn, she gets angry. She blames Yoon Seo and tells them to stop talking about the ghost. Meanwhile, Eun-chan and another student see Min-ha washing a bloody shirt in the bathroom. They ask, "What happened?" But the announcer announces, "Shin Sung-bin was killed last night due to the Mafia." Students ask about Min-ha's shirt. Then Na-hee screams when she finds Sung-bin's blood-soaked body. Hearing the sound of screaming, students gather and go to Na-hee. Everyone immediately suspects Min-ha, but he tries to save himself. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo takes photos of the scene and tries to find clues by looking at the body carefully. She tells Wonjung, "Seung-bin was attacked with a lot of anger." Yoon Seo notes, "Looking at these wounds, it seems the Mafia was taking some revenge from Seung-bin." Min-ha says to Kyung-jun, "I didn't do all this." As students discuss Seung-bin, someone notices that Jun-hee's name is written on the wall. They had never seen this before and wonder why and how it was written. They think maybe the doctor or police has written it. Attention then shifts to Junhee, who admits, I told a lie about being Mafia last time. He thanks the doctor for saving him but clarifies, I don't know who the doctor, policeman, or Mafia is. For this reason, students start suspecting Junhee more because his profession was not revealed. Kyung-jun is the first to point all this out and calls Junhee Mafia. This makes Yoon Seo angry and they almost reach a physical fight. Suspicion on Minha also increases, especially when Kyung-jun leaves him. This time, Minha does not stop and attacks Kyung-jun. Kyung-jun goes to vote for Minha, but Junhee stops him. He says, if Kyung-jun continues to do as he pleases and doesn't listen to others, then he will be in the Mafia's sight next time. He suggests that the students meet again at 11 p.m. and decide how to vote. Then students go their respective ways, and Junhee tells Seomi to stay back. He tells Seomi, do not frame someone else just to save me. I don't need your help and I never asked for it. Seomi tries to threaten him, but Junhee ignores her. Minha swears, I will prove my innocence, and follows Kyung-jun all day. Minha realizes that only Kyung-jun knew where he and Seungbin were hidden. Meanwhile, the rest of the students are shocked that Kyung-jun and his gang have started betraying each other so quickly. But they focus on urgent things, such as why Junhee's name was written on the wall. They think that the rest of the names must have been written earlier because the doctor had used his skill twice. Later, Junhee takes care of Yoon-jun, who is still crying for his girlfriend. After that, Junhee shows Yoon Seo the pictures they took on the first day. Yoon Seo notices, our faces look strange, just like I saw in the picture. After which she goes out to do her own investigation and she sees a ghost, seeing which she gets scared. But when she looks in that direction again, she also finds a key and a text arrives. Find the game host. Her friends find her later and she tells them what happened. One Young and the others say, we don't believe you, but Junhee trusts her. He agrees. Keep the key and mission secret, because Yoon Seo says, I received a message, but after knowing about the mission, the message disappeared. Yoon Seo promises, I will find more photo albums so that I can prove my innocence. Then they agree to find the game host using the key. The same Minha, he follows Kyung-jun, who goes towards another building with a bag. Yoon-jun sees them and also follows them. He overhears Kyung-jun telling Minha, a trap was set to put you under suspicion for Sungbin's murder too. The Mafia had also put blood on Kyung-jun. Kyung-jun decides, I will burn these clothes before anyone else finds out. Both suspect each other and a physical fight starts. They stop when they realize that Yoon-jun is watching them. Then they gang up against him and try to tie Yoon-jun, but Yoon-jun also fights them. While fighting, Kyung-jun accidentally pushes Yoon-jun and he falls on a brick. Kyung-jun recruits Minha so that Yoon-jun can be finished and no one gets news about it. Then they hit Yoon-jun on the head very badly with a brick. Kyung-jun and Minha leave after hitting Yoon-jun with the brick. Then in a flashback, it is found that Yoon-jun was the doctor who had saved Junhee and another student. But when he wanted to save his girlfriend, he could not save her because it is necessary to wait for some time before using healing skills again. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo and Junhee try to find photo albums so that they can show them as evidence. The announcer announces, Yoon-jun died, and he was the doctor. Students are shocked that someone was killed during the day. They immediately hurry to find him. Everyone fears how degraded the Mafia have become. They want to finish the game quickly. Yoon Seo quickly says, Yoon-jun did not die at the hands of the Mafia. She sees everything well and takes photos. Junwon helps her and they find the brick which was used to kill Yoon-jun, along with a footprint and a piece of a shoe sole. Meanwhile, the rest of the students take Yoon-jun's body to the freezer and gather to discuss this accident. They ask, why did Yoon-jun die? And express their anger against the Mafia. During this, Yoon-chan finds a message written on the wall. The message is said to be from the police, in which Junhee and Da-beom are called Mafia. As expected, the message creates suspicion among the students. They are curious whether Junhee is a citizen or Mafia. Junhee comes and tells everyone, I am not Mafia. Yoon Seo supports him and says, the message might be fake. Seo-mi asks Yoon Seo, why did you come late to the meeting? Won Jung immediately comes in defense of her best friend. Kyung-jun tears the message. He demands, students, tell everyone about your profession. But Yoon Seo says, there is no need to do this. She is sure, I have found out who killed Yoon-jun. Being curious, students go into a room and Yoon Seo shows them the evidence of the footprint and shoe sole. Junhee says, basketball players use this shoe accessory. Attention immediately goes towards Kyung-jun and Minha, who are wearing sports shoes. Kyung-jun immediately agrees to show the shoes, but Minha hesitates. Students catch him and the shoe sole accessory is found to be his. Students are shocked, then Minha tries to apologize. He also points at Kyung-jun and says he was the one who killed the doctor. They are fighting, but Kyung-jun is stronger. During the fight, Kyung-jun mentions the brick. This draws the attention of Yeon Seo and Won Jung, who had never mentioned it before. students realize Kyung-jun was also involved in the murder. Kyung-jun and Min-ha continue to fight, and he tries to stop them, gets hurt himself. Yoon-seo tries to stop them, but she gets pushed. Seeing this, Jun-hee gets angry and he punishes Kyung-jun. Things calm down then. As the situation settles, Kyung-jun points out a marker fell from Min-ha's pocket. He says Min-ha must have written the message on the wall. Students suspect Min-ha more, even though he explains that he did not write the message. No one trusts him. Finally, students lock Min-ha and Kyung-jun in separate rooms and take their phones. Jun-hee promises the phones will be returned before the voting time ends. Seo-mi tries to get the keys to the snack bar, but Kyung-jun says, I don't have the keys. Despite being locked, Min-ha and Kyung-jun keep shouting, we are citizens! After this, Seo-mi and Choi-mina recruit Dabeom to find the keys to the cafeteria because that is the safest place. Meanwhile, Yoon-seo applies ointment to Jun-hee's wound and checks whether he is fine or not. After a lovey-dovey moment, they return to the others. But before leaving the clinic, Yoon-seo finds something like a medicine-type thing and suspects this was used in writing the message on the wall. Students hold a meeting and discuss the further planning with Kyung-jun and Min-ha. Jun-hee argues that they can still vote. Students agree that around voting time, both Kyung-jun and Min-ha's phones are returned. They fight a lot about who is Mafia, and Yoon-seo also says, I am disturbed by Yoo-jun's death. Because the announcer always announces the Mafia killed him, but this time she said, Yoo-jun died. Yoon-seo says, if one of these two were Mafia, it would have been announced that the Mafia killed Yoo-jun. Due to this point of Yoon-seo, students become more disturbed. Students discuss more and request the police tell us the profession of Kyung-jun and Min-ha. Yoon-seo refuses and says this will put the police's life in danger. Kyung-jun and Min-ha start panicking as time is passing. After the meeting, students hide and Jun-hee returns Min-ha's phone. Min-ha begs for mercy, but Jun-hee says, you also didn't show any mercy with Yoo-jun. When Min-ha realizes that everyone will vote for him, meanwhile we find out that Kyung-jun had written the message on the wall. Dabeom, Seo-mi, and Mina stop Kyung-jun and ask for cafeteria keys. They also threaten him, and Kyung-jun gives them the keys. Dabeom takes him back to his room and tells him to take the phone, but he had glued the phone to something. As time runs out, Kyung-jun runs to take the phone, and Dabeom locks him. Kyung-jun threatens Dabeom and tries to break the door using a chair. After voting, Min-ha is killed, and it is found that he was a citizen. Then Seo-mi and Mina hide in the cafeteria. On the other side, Kyung-jun remembers how he was framed and he finds an axe and bloody shirts outside his hiding place. He plans, I will take revenge tomorrow. But unfortunately, Dabeom, a Mafia, makes a different plan for him. Dabeom makes fun of Kyung-jun, and they start fighting. Kyung-jun is upset and shocked when he finds out, Dabeom, you acted like you were scared in front of everyone. As soon as Kyung-jun falls completely asleep, Dabeom puts earphones in his ears. He knows that at the time of death, a heard that last sense is hearing, and he wants Kyung-jun to hear his own death. From Kyung-jun's flashback, we find out where he was bullying Ju-won and Dabeom in the center. At this time, students get the message about the game and their professions. Dabeom finds out, I am Mafia. A few days later, we see Dabeom standing over Sung-bin and hitting him many times. The point to note is that Dabeom removed his uniform and wore earphones, and it is found out that after killing Sung-bin, Dabeom gives Seo-mi the axe and that blood-stained shirt so that she can keep it outside Kyung-jun's hiding place. Currently, Dabeom and Seo-mi argue whether to kill Kyung-jun or not. Dabeom believes we have to kill Kyung-jun because Kyung-jun knows that I am Mafia. Seo-mi leaves all this after arguing and lets Dabeom do this disgusting work. While killing Kyung-jun, Dabeom forgets that he had brought Kyung-jun's phone along. The next morning, students wake up after hearing the news of Kyung-jun's death and are surprised. He died on the same day Min-ha also died. The rest of the students are ready to help Kyung-jun, but Seo-mi and Choi-mina refuse. As time passes, Dabeom worries, am I being suspected? And students are worried about the Mafia, thinking, who is it? Dabeom creates suspicion in Eun-chan and Yeon-woo's, and puts suspicion on Yoon-seo because the people whom she suspected have died, and she is always in a hurry to remove bodies. On the other side, Seo-mi tries to instigate Nahi and Choi-mina vote against Yoon-seo. Mina tells Seo-mi during mutual conversation, I am suspecting Dabeom, but Seo-mi tells her, we have no proof. Meanwhile, Yoon-chan and Yeon-woo find them in the cafeteria and think both can be suspected because only Kyung-jun had the canteen key and they must have snatched the key from him after killing him. They ask those girls, how did you get the keys? Seo-mi tells a lie. We saw Kyung-jun hiding them the previous day. Yeon-woo even believes their excuse and thinks these two are being so clever just to get food. Meanwhile, Jun-hee, Yoon-seo, and Jung-won fear, we have less time, only 9 people are left. Jung-won says, we have to find the Mafia, and Yoon-seo starts getting scared and says, try to finish the game. Both of them also agree with Yoon Seo and believe that they cannot risk losing another citizen. They start looking for the host, they find a drawer which does not open and decide, we should try to break it by taking some weapon. While going to get the weapon, Joon-hee finds Kyung-jun's phone and wonders, how did it come here? He remembers, I gave it to Dabeom so that he could take it to Kyung-jun at the time of voting. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo finds the button to open that door. On opening it, inside she finds a small wooden box and tries to open it with a key. She finds the class photo in that locker. She receives a message to check the name of the ghost host, and Park Se-yoon's name comes forward. Students get a message. Park Se-yoon is the game host. Suddenly, their memory comes back and they remember. Who was Se-yoon? She was their classmate who committed suicide. Students wonder, what is Se-yoon's relation with the game? They become worried. The ghost whom Yoon Seo kept mentioning was Se-yoon herself. Seomi asks Yoon Seo, what do you know about the game because you were close to Se-eun? Youngwon says, there is a rumor that Se-eun did not die herself, but she was killed. Yoon Seo says, maybe Se-eun is taking her revenge through the game? If she was really killed, then whoever killed her should be among us and we should find out. As students think, they wonder whether those who killed Sa'an are the Mafia. Woo-ram and Seomi had issues with Sa'an. Students think the game was to trouble Woo-ram because he broke Seon's heart. But they question, what do the rest of the Mafia do with Seon, and who are they? After the meeting, Seomi and Na-hee talk alone. Na-hee tries to convince Seomi, come forward and tell everyone the truth that you bullied Seon and maybe became the cause of her death. But Seomi, not admitting her mistake, says, I did nothing wrong, and tells Na-hee, keep your mouth shut. Later, she tells Dabeom, Na-hee can tell everyone the truth. On this, Dabeom says, Na-hee is Seomi's problem because I have already killed everyone who knows about my role. He threatens Seomi, keep Na-hee in line, otherwise the rest of the Mafia will not protect you. On the other side, Joon-hee, Yoon Seo, and Jung-won, all three find more evidence in the room and try to find out what happened. Yoon Seo suspects, we fell into the Mafia's trick and voted for Min-ha and Kyung-jun. At the same time, Mina starts getting upset by remembering Se-yoon. She thinks, the ghost is upon us. Seomi changes her point and suspects Dabeom. She also calls Na-hee Mafia. Soon it becomes night, and Yoon Seo inquires from Dabeom about Kyung-jun's phone. Dabeom panics and says, I went to meet Kyung-jun with Seomi and Mina. This increases suspicion on Seomi and Na-hee more because they have cafeteria keys. Seomi tells a lie. I saw Kyung-jun hiding the keys and also denies, we never harmed Seyoon. The more lies there are, the more Yoon-chan and Yeonwoo bring up the past. Yoon-chan asks directly, are you Mafia? Seomi says, wait, and says, I know who started that video of Seyoon. Without hesitation, she votes for Na-hee and says, Na-hee herself spread that video. Mina also supports Seomi. Na-hee tells everyone, trust me. Na-hee says, I am the police, and reveals, Seomi is Mafia. She tells Seomi, take responsibility and tell the truth. Mina quickly apologizes and says, Seomi tricked me. Na-hee does not accept this apology, while Seomi tries to save herself. Yoon-chan gets angry and blames Seomi for every death after Woo-ram's death. Students demand an answer, and Seomi says, I had no other way. The game made me a Mafia, and I did not choose to kill anyone myself. I had to survive, for which I had to kill someone, which I did. Seomi asks Joon-hee for help, but he also turns his face away. Yoon Seo also says, Seomi had to suffer the consequences and refuses to help. Students start voting for Seomi, being angry at which she tries to tell the names of the rest of the Mafias. But she starts vomiting blood from her mouth, and the announcer stops her from telling everyone the Mafia's profession. In the end, everyone votes for Seomi and leaves her to die. Within a short time, night arrives, and Dabeom and the rest of the Mafia become busy. Their next target is Na-hee, the police. However, Na-hee has a plan and she takes Joon-hee's help. She apologizes, I could not be quick in saving the rest, but asks to weave a trap for the Mafia. She hopes, through this, I can find out about Joon-hee and the remaining Mafias and save myself. There is only one person whom she can trust. He is Jun-hee because he is not Mafia. Still, Joon-hee's profession remains a secret. The next day, Na-hee's death is announced, and students fall into concern, what should we do now? Without police, they are alone. They say, we have to find out what happened with Seyoon and why she died. In a flashback, we see that Joon-hee tried to save Seyoon, but it was too late. When he reaches, Seyoon had already jumped into the water, and he gets a panic attack because he cannot swim. Junhee breaks down and realizes, I could not save Nahi and I could not stop Seyun from dying too. Students think what to do next. Jungwon sees. Mina and Dabeom are not visible anywhere. They think whether they are planning something and are Mafia. Yunchan especially suspects Mina. While talking, Junhee says, I have proof of who killed Nahi. Actually, he and Nahi had set a trap to find out the Mafia. He also shows the video to the students, which he took while setting the trap with Nahi. They mixed air freshener and neon paint and tried to find the Mafia with UV light. They check the shoes and blood spots are found in Mina's shoe. Mina pleads and says, I am innocent, but Yeonseo is not convinced and says, Mina is not Mafia, and tells the others to maintain peace. Yoonseo argues the paint on Mina's shoe is very less. If she had killed Nahi, there would be more. She checks again with Jungwon, but don't know how Jungwon finds exactly the place where Nahi was hidden and sees bloodstains. They find out the Mafia got hurt while killing Nahi. Yunseo tells this to Junhee and calms him and promises, we will find Nahi's killer. Junhee becomes upset and says, I am tired of seeing my friends die. I want to go home. On the other side, Mina tries to bring Yeonwoo and Yunchan to her side by giving them food, but they drive her away from there. She begs them to save her, but they don't listen to a single word of hers. She bumps into Jungwon, who tells her the Mafia was hurt. Mina shows Jungwon, there is no injury on my body, and says, we should become friends. She also gives her the cafeteria key. Jungwon returns to Junhee and Yunseo and says, there are no injuries on Mina's body. All three understand. The Mafia is trying to trick us in the games. Yunseo suggests, why not weave a trap? And Junhee texts everyone, I have found the video camera which was hidden by Nahi before dying. He says, the device is charging and everyone should meet in 30 minutes. After reading the message, Dabeom is frightened. He looks for Yunseo and asks, where is the camera's location? She says, it is charging in the cafeteria. Jungwon keeps an eye on Mina. They meet Yunchan in the hallway, who says, I went to the medical room. I am in pain. Mina says, when I saw Yeonwoo before, he was feeling pain. They immediately run towards the medical room and find Yeonwoo with an injury. They immediately suspect he must have got these injuries while killing Na-hee. Mina takes him towards the cafeteria. Also, Yunseo and Junhee catch Dabeom while checking the video camera in the cafeteria. Hearing the noise, Junhee, Yunseo, and Dabeom immediately go behind the noise, where they find out that there is an injury on Yeonwoo's body and everyone is suspecting that he killed Na-hee. Then Junhee sees Dabeom laughing when everyone was suspecting Yeonwoo. Students gather and Dabeom is accused of being Mafia along with Yeonwoo. Yunseo and Junhee suspect him because they caught him checking the camera. This trap was set by Junhee, Yunseo, and Jungwon, and Dabeom fell into it. He claims, I only came to see the video and could not wait. I only came to see if the camera is properly charging. But Junhee and Yunseo do not believe him. On the other hand, Yeonwoo says, I myself don't know how I got hurt. I woke up with the injury and hid it even from my best friend Yunchan because I was afraid of becoming the victim of everyone's suspicion. He votes for Dabeom first. But Jungwon asks, why didn't you tell in the morning when no one knew that the Mafia was hurt? Yeonwoo tries to save himself when Dabeom also votes for him. He says, Seomi and Mina were also like this. They had Kyungjun's keys and everyone knew that they didn't like Seyun. Mina tells everyone, I am innocent, and hits Yeonwoo's injury, then votes for him. The game of suspicion continues. Everyone tries to prove their innocence. Everyone gets stuck between Dabeom and Yeonwoo. Dabeom makes excuses. Yeonwoo is hardly able to explain how he got hurt. Junhee votes for Dabeom, and Yunchan doubts his own friend. Naturally, this breaks Yeonwoo's heart, and he feels, I have been betrayed by my own friend. He questions, are you voting for me so that you can save yourself because we both were hidden together and maybe you are the Mafia? Yeonwoo is very sad with the whole situation, and he feels the worst when Yunchan votes for him. After the voting is over, Yeonwoo goes towards the cafeteria crying. Students leave to hide, and Junhee follows Dabeom. He tells Yunseo, hide alone because you are safer. At the same time, Dabeom quickly goes to the second floor to see where the rest of the students are hidden. Junhee sees him and keeps following him. At the same time, Yunseo realizes Jungwon knew where Nahi was hiding without asking Junhee anything. She asks Jungwon many questions, and Jungwon admits, all this is true, I am Mafia. Yunseo is sad to know this and cries, asking, why? Then in a flashback, it is shown that Jung-won was the main one in the Mafia operation. She made strategies while Da-byum used to kill everyone, and Seo-mi used to help in putting others in the circle of suspicion. Yoon-seo begs her to stop and says, "End the game." But before Jung-won can answer, Yoon-seo falls asleep. Jun-hee interrogates Da-byum in the toilet because he found more evidence that he is Mafia. They get into a physical fight because Da-byum says, "Jun-hee never helped when Kyung-jun was bullying me." Da-byum says, "Jun-hee, you are even more guilty than Kyung-jun and his gang because you stood and did nothing." These words hurt Jun-hee, and he tells Da-byum, "Leave Yoon-seo and the rest." Meanwhile, Mina hides in the cafeteria and bumps into Yeon-woo, who tries to kill her. But then it becomes night, and Yeon-woo dies in a short time. On the other hand, Mina hides in the cafeteria area. As soon as night arrives, Da-byum tries to kill Jun-hee, but he is reminded of the Mafia rules. Without telling the other Mafia, you cannot kill anyone. He meets Jung-won, and they decide, "We will kill all the survivors." Jung-won agrees. Jun-hee and Yeon-seo have to be killed, while Da-byum will handle the rest. By now, only 4 citizens and 2 mafias are left. Da-byum is doubtful whether Jung-won will be able to kill her friends, but she says, "This is at least what I can do for them." He helps her in putting Yoon-seo in the freezer and plans to leave her there. While Jung-won goes to lower the freezer's temperature, Da-byum steals Yoon-seo's phone. Later, we see Jung-won going to the toilet where Jun-hee is. After this, Da-byum goes to Eun-chan and ties his head with plastic. Then he also kills Mina. After killing everyone, he eats food, and then a message comes from Jung-won. Jun-hee and Yoon-seo are dead. He still checks Yoon-seo's phone and finds that it is still running. He asks Jung-won, "Did you really kill Yoon-seo?" And Jung-won tells him, "Check for yourself." Da-byum is there and sees that Yoon-seo is still alive, and they argue about checking her body. He asks why Jung-won did not kill her friend, and they start attacking each other. Suddenly, the announcement is made. Mafias cannot kill each other. Jung-won stops Da-byum and uses a spray, which makes him writhe, and getting a chance, Jung-won runs and locks the door. She tells Da-byum, "Wait for the next 30 minutes. As soon as night arrives, Da-byum, staying in the freezer, faces hallucination. He thinks the body he killed is Yoon-seo's, but it turns out to be Na-hee. It turns out that Jung-won had hidden Yoon-seo somewhere else, and did not cause any harm to Jun-hee either. Jung-won keeps Yoon-seo's phone near her. In the morning, Yoon-seo and Jun-hee wake up. Yoon-seo tells Jung-won, "This betrayal is so big that I want to die." But Jung-won does not have more time. She has to find Da-byum. Jun-hee accidentally hears and gets angry at Jung-won, but Yeon-seo stops him. Jung-won leaves to find Da-byum, and Jun-hee tells Yoon-seo, "Stay in your room." Jun-hee thinks voting for Da-byum and killing Jung-won is the only way to win. Yoon-seo agrees. Jung-won sends a message, "Da-byum is coming, be careful." Then Yoon-seo finds a gift box in the bag. Jung-won had left a USB for her. When Yoon-seo opens the files, it is revealed that Jung-won is not real. Rather, she is a game character. She is Se-eun, who was Yoon-seo's best friend. After a while, Da-byum brings them to the rooftop. He has kept a knife on Yoon-seo's throat and says to Jung-won, "If you want to save Yoon-seo, jump down." Jung-won asks the remaining citizens will not be harmed. Meanwhile, a fight occurs. Yoon-seo tries to free herself from Da-byum, and she succeeds in it. Jun-hee immediately attacks Da-byum, but Da-byum overpowers him and hits him with a stone. Jung-won opens Yoon-seo's hands, but Da-byum comes to kill Jung-won. Jun-hee gets up and kills Da-byum. After Da-byum's death, Yeon-seo says, "I know Jung-won's truth," and she apologizes. She tells Jung-won, "Stop the game," and becomes unconscious. Jung-won also jumps down from above to stop all this. Jun-hee wins because he is a citizen. After the game, Yoon-seo wakes up in a strange place. She sees that all the students are trapped in a machine, that is, they are still in the game. Then a man comes and warns her, "Do not wake up the rest of the students." And we find out that Se-eun's parents created the game because their daughter had committed suicide. They blame the students for Se-eun's death. Da-byum had made a dirty video of Se-eun and forced her to share it. Seo-mi and her companions continued the bullying due to which Se-eun committed suicide. Se-eun's parents want these children to play the game again and feel the same pain again and again. They erase the students' memories so that in every new game they feel their death once more. Yoon-seo returns to the game with her memories, where they all go back towards the student center. When Yoon-seo looks next to her, she does not see Jung-won, and in front, Jun-hee is smiling while looking towards Yoon-seo. Yoon-seo feels that everything is over and she is calm, but then she again hears the same noise that the children were making in the beginning. When Yoon-seo looks there, she sees Jung-won in the corner, seeing whom Yoon-seo gets scared. At the end of the show, there is suspense, and we ask ourselves, is Yoon-seo now in the game with memories? Will anyone ever be able to come into the real world? The end.